Well, I know I said I was going to clean off the whole workbench, but I made a little path in the middle there, give me enough working room, because I really am dying to open this thing up and get to the mystery box.
I saw you with the box. What was in the box?
Well, several people made guesses as to what I have in the box, and I think the my favorite one and the funniest one was the new camera with lots and lots and lots of packing. So I will say this much before the final unveiling. Somebody hit the nail right on the head.
What's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's
gun.
in the box?
I only put a couple of sheets of very thin OSB board in the bottom here to try and give it some extra structure. I'll tell you, the other thing about this unit is I bought this from a company that I believe deals in damaged freight. So this unit is non-working, and I took a big chance on this thing that I'm going to be able to repair it. On this side, we put a thick piece of foam rubber. Ooh, might have to save that for something in the future. Ah, who knows what it is now? I see a yellow. Let's take that out. Oh, the end of this is attached to the main unit, so I can't take that out till I get the rest of this out. Well, you can see this is all still the original tags on it and everything from where it was when it was shipped at the factory. For anybody who hasn't figured it out yet, here's yet another clue. It runs on 220 volts. At the thickness of this cable, it runs on a lot of current. Big chunk of packing foam on this end. Oh! Oh! Dead giveaway right there. That's right. I bought myself a plasma arc cutter.
He didn't know.
This is a ESAB model PCM 875. This sucker is supposed to be able to cut through 1-inch thick steel when it works. So it came with this instruction manual, and then in this envelope we've got an instruction manual for the actual cutting torch and a little box, a little kit, PT27, let's see, spare parts kit. So here's the manual for the PT27 torch, and then they retaped this. In the auction listing, they had this open so you could see what was in it. So I'll open it now. Little diagram showing you how this all goes together. And got, I'm not sure exactly how this all works, but I know some of these parts are what they call the consumables, which means they get used up, I guess, as you use the torch. So that's why you get extra ones. Looks like I've got 3 electrodes in here. A couple of these little nozzles. A little bit of this, whatever that is. Replacement fuse. This little donut thing. That apparently is the swirl baffle. Got 2 of these heat shields. And then this thing here. So, alright, well, worry about that later. Alright, and this looks like just the ground electrode. If they wanted to try and keep that from getting damaged in shipping. So they put that inside of this padded envelope, which clearly was for something else because it says CMI scanner kit, CMI barcode scanner, a USB cable, blah blah blah. Alright. MSC Industrial Supply Company. Alright. That's just something they had hanging around they used for packing. There, I already did my first repair on it. I've just pushed this cover back up onto the ground clamp. Now they claim that they tried to power the unit up and it would not come on at all, that it didn't do anything. And that they checked the fuse and they checked to see if there was voltage going to the fuse, and there was, and it just wouldn't come on. But what's interesting to me is I wonder why this was loose in the box, because I could see the end of the power cable down there, and maybe they had to take this off for shipping. I would have thought that they could have just put this somewhere in the box. In other words, why did they take this back off? Alright, now that we know these padded envelopes aren't how it was shipped from the factory, let's rip this one open and see whether or not that torch looks like it's been used. Well, that looks good. This looks like it has not been used. I'm no expert, but I'm thinking, oh wait a minute, what's that right there? Is that discoloration from heat? But I mean, the very tip doesn't look like it's been used to me. Well, I shoot some close-ups with the Sony camera and splice those into the video so you can see what the tip looks like. Get a load of the size of this power cord on this thing. Let's see, the red one is cut off. Why would that be? I wonder if these guys were wiring this plug wrong and that's why they couldn't get any power out of it. Wouldn't that be great? Let's see what this cord says it is. Number 6. 4 conductor, number 6 copper. Yeah. I'll just put this quarter on the bench next to it to give it some scale. Well, now that's interesting. This box clearly looks like it's the right box for the unit because it's even got cutouts for the handles here in the right places. But on the side of the box it says MSC, MSCdirect.com. That's the same company that's on this thing for the barcode. So I can't remember if that's the name of the place I bought this from. I didn't think it was. I'll have to check this place out. Maybe they were an industrial supplier that is also a distributor for these. Alright, opening it up now. There's a big dent right here. And I'm not upset about that because that was clearly mentioned in the auction listing. That the only visible damage that they could see was this big dent right here. So this clearly took a hit on this side when it was in the original shipping carton. And then what I'm noticing up here is I'm noticing some scraping abrasion on this handle and also almost in the same area on this handle. And I think that was not there in the listing, so that may have happened during shipping. Looks like maybe it was rubbing against something inside the carton. And I can live with that also. So what we're looking at here, this is the this is where the connection for those of you who don't know how these work, plasma cutters like of this type require an inner air gas source, which typically is shop air. So you need to hook up a compressor to here, and I'm not quite sure what the deal is with this down here. Oh, look, I wonder if that's some kind of a voltage selector switch. Well, we got a alright, this is made in Poland, which my parents were made in Poland, so I certainly don't have a problem with that. And then it goes on to say, alright, this indicates that it will run on single or 3-phase, which is good, because some of these units are 3-phase only, 400 and whatever volts, and I don't have a 3-phase power source that will run this. I've got a 3-phase converter for running a motor like on a saw, but it wouldn't be able to support the power that this would need. So I did check the model number ahead of time to find out that this was in fact the model that will operate on single phase 230 volt. Oh, just look down here. This is the on-off switch apparently. Kind of weird that it's on the back here. This must be maybe a master on-off switch. I'm assuming there's one on the front. Another mystery. This fuse. Oh, there's the label right here, 208/230 volt unit. Okay. This fuse. It's the only fuse present on the back here. Notice it says 3A. 3 amp. I mean, this is a 60 amp plasma cutter. This must draw some pretty heavy duty current. This can't be a mainline fuse. It's interesting. The 3 amp fuse. I wonder what's in here. I mean, there was a big bus fuse in that replacement kit. Makes me think that, well, that doesn't even look like, oh, physically it's the same size as the one in the kit. A KTK3. So this is a fast acting 3 amp fuse. Boy, I've never seen a fuse of that style. You know, usually 3 amp fuse is a little glass sucker. I've never seen a fuse with that heavy duty casing on it. That was only 3 amp. That's puzzling. Well, the plot thickens. Look at this fuse. This is the fuse that was in here. It's a KLM15. So that's probably a 15 amp. That's a little more like it. Even that's a little tad low for this style fuse, but 3 is just nuts to me. And the next question is, why are they giving you a spare 15 amp fuse in this kit? Whew, man, this thing's heavy. I just had to wrestle that cardboard box out from underneath it. Now I should be able to turn it around. Alright, here we go. Here's the business end of it. So this is the ground electrode lead. This is the torch lead, which apparently doesn't disconnect from the unit. I know you can change the torch, but I guess maybe you're going to take it apart to do that. Oh, I see. There's a door on the side here. It's a little access door, so see if I can get a shot of that. Got a little lightning bolt symbol there to tell you not to take that off when it's energized, because there's a shock hazard behind there, but that's probably where your torch cable connections are. So that's where you would disconnect this to pull the torch out, in case you want to change it to, I guess like another torch that they have is called a machine torch, which instead of having this pistol grip is just like a straight deal, and it's made to be mounted in a like a CNC operated deal. So like if you get a computer and you want to make it cut circles and fancy shapes. Boy, the controls are really basic. We've got a gauge here to tell us what the air pressure is from our incoming air pressure. This knob right here must be the regulator to adjust it. We've got a power indicator light, fault light. We've got air test. You must pop it up to this and check to make sure that you've got enough air to operate it, and then flip it down for operation. Trigger lock, so I'm assuming you put this in the up position, and then if you press this little button, nothing will happen. Unlock position, hit the button, go to town, hopefully. And then the last connection control is we got a amperage control up to the max of 60 amps for cutting full thickness, and then you can dial it all the way down to, looks like I wonder why you can dial it down to 0, but it says the minimum is 20. Well, 20 would probably be good for cutting sheet metal, maybe, I don't know. Even with the dent, it does look pretty. Well, cover on the owner's manual is pretty roughed up. It's got a big crease and a tear in it, so they definitely had this out when we're checking it out. What's nice is that in addition to a description of how it works, how to install it, operation, and maintenance, in the back, which is just pure gold as far as I'm concerned, there's an entire parts list, there's a parts breakdown with part numbers, and get this, there's even, all the way in the back here, a schematic diagram, which is going to be instrumental to me getting this thing to operate, possibly repairing it if I need to. But unfortunately, you'll notice that all of these connections are going to this PC board, and they're calling it PC board 1, the control board. They don't show you anything about what's going on that. In other words, if you isolate the fault to this PC board, you need to replace this whole PC board. Well, getting ready to go up for the night. Last thing I'm going to mention about this is that the instructions show that this red wire is not used for single phase. So that's why this is cut off, because when they were testing it, they must have just been trying to run it off of single phase, not three phase. This red wire is only used for three phase. So that solved one mystery. And I thought about it, and I think I can run it off of my cheesy extension cord if I just keep the amperage down low. So for the purposes of trying to figure out what's wrong with this thing and why it doesn't turn on, I think I'll be able to just use that cord. But that's for another time.